Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode number 233 of the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media. And for the first time, we would like to welcome as a Rose Rotation co-host and team member, none other than the Cy Young runner-up from a season ago in the National League, Logan Webb of the San Francisco Giants. See, I've got my little Giants cap. Do you have one of these hanging in your locker?
I do. I actually like it a lot. A couple people didn't like him at first. I was like, it's the old school Giants. I think that's a good look.
Yeah. No, well, I was kind of iffy on them too. The first time I saw it, I was like, wait, did they iron on this patch? And it's kind of grown on me the more that I've seen it and I've worn it a few times. So I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in too. I like it.
Okay.
I think we should create some hats, do a hat like that during the season. Like we wear black uniforms with that hat. I don't know. Might be a good look.
Oh. But you guys are only allowed to wear these in batting practice, I think. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Are you a shagger?
I like to do it once every series. And then you pick and choose like which place you go to.
What is it?
The good stadiums you'll shag. Good fans usually that talk a little smack. We talked before about that. Those fans, but yeah, always. It's good to get out there. Snell, Zilla is a big shagger, likes to shag. So he's been getting me out there a little bit more.
Okay, so do you like to the ones that'll the fans that'll kind of give you shit on the road?
Yeah.
Like those are the ones you want to hang out with?
Oh yeah. Because then you mess with them. Like you don't throw them a ball. Blake does this thing where he'll throw a ball to one fan the whole time. And then people start getting pissed because he's only throwing it to that one person. I think that's great.
So wait, is he playing catch with the fan, or is he just like every ball he gets, he'll turn and fire it to him?
Every ball he gets, he'll turn and he'll throw to him. Perfect.
Oh, I love that. Okay, we got a lot of ground to cover with you. It's been a few weeks probably a few months actually since we've talked, and now that you're officially a family member here, and hopefully you've invested in the John Boy 401k because it's a hell of a program. Let's start with your home opener. Last Friday, we had a pair of San Francisco 49ers stars in Deebo Samuel and Fred Warner attempt to throw out the first pitch.
Yeah, that wasn't. Those weren't pretty. Deebo's was a lot better.
Yeah,
Fred's was tough.
Now, as a diehard Raiders fan, did you go up and give them shit afterward?
I did not. I should have. I should have went and caught the ball. I should have been. They had Matt Williams out there. You guys, Bay Area legend. You have those guys out there for that. But I wish I was there to give them a little shit talk for sure.
Yeah. And then, but Pat Burrell caught the other one. I mean, I know he's part of the World Series team and everything, but I mean, you finished second in the Cy Young. Doesn't that usurp that power?
No, Pat the Bat's a legend. He should be out there for sure.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And then Wisnowski, the punter of the Niners, booted it into the bay. So is this now going to be like a yearly tradition, like the opening punt of the baseball season?
I have no clue. We do random things like that all the time. I liked it, but I don't know if you have video of this, but Austin Slater later in the game, football somehow gets back onto the field. Slater throws it out, and it's a tough toss.
Ooh, was it
tough toss?
Was it like a Fred Warner first pitch?
It was just it looked like a Peyton Manning duck. You know how Peyton had those sometimes?
Yeah. He threw the ugly, most catchable ball in NFL history.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was Slater's throw. It wasn't a good look.
So I forget, were you a quarterback in high school?
I was.
Yeah. So it probably pissed you off that he was the one that had to throw the football because you're like, right? I can sling that shit, right?
Yeah, throw it to the pitcher's mound next time.
Yeah, get it out there. So this discussion that we're having today, this episode got pushed back a couple of times because you had some family members that surprised you in town. I just read the amazing article about your two grandmas who they both lost their. So first of all, explain who they are in the lineage, like mom side, dad side, the whole bit. Who are they?
So one's mom's mom, one's dad's mom. They kind of lost. We lost their husbands, my grandpa's, kind of like the back-to-back years. So it was tough on them, obviously. And at some point, they just were like, "You want a roommate?" And so they've lived together for a long time now, since 2000, probably 12, I would say 2013. And yeah, it's awesome. There's the team grandmas. They came to the game last night, and they love Wilmer Flores. Like, Wilmer Flores is their favorite player, more than me. Like, they like Wilmer more than me. And they've been asking me forever, "Hey, can we meet Wilmer? Can we meet Wilmer?" And finally, I'm like, okay, because he was getting treatment. I was like, no, I don't want to bother him. And he's sitting there eating. And I said, "Hey, Poppy, do you care if you meet my grandmas? They love you." And Wilmer's the best. He was like, "Yeah, of course." So he went out there and made my grandma's night. They absolutely loved it. Wilmer's the best for doing it, but it's just funny that all they want to do is meet Wilmer. That's it. They'll come to games just to meet Wilmer.
Well, now they've crossed that off the list. So what's next?
They're gonna find a new player now. It'll be someone else. It'll be Blake Snell or Chapman or somebody.
So what are they active? Like, do they text you on days you pitch? Do they keep you in check? What's the deal with the grandmas?
Oh yeah. They send a text out in the morning, big long paragraph saying good luck. It's usually like kick the shit out of whoever we're playing that day. So it's always good. My whole family, there's like every start day, there's like my uncle says the same thing every single time. My grandma sends me texts every time. My mom says the same thing. It's a very superstitious family, and it doesn't help that I'm the most superstitious person. So there'll be times where they forget, like they got lives or something, and they forget to text me, and I'll text them back.
What does everybody text?
My uncle will text me, like he'll just say, "Let's fucking go," and it's like a hand, like but he does it every time, and it's funny. He forgot in spring training. I don't know if you saw my spring training numbers this year.
I did.
They're pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I think it was the one I gave up 9, the last one. He forgot to text me that morning, and he thought it was his fault. He thought it was his fault. I'm like, "Hey, it has nothing to do with you. I just can't throw. I can't get anybody out right now, But it's funny. My family's the best. My grandmas are the kind of the leaders of the pack. So, good to have them all the time.
I love that. God, that's such good stuff. Can people talk to you on game day, or are you one of those guys that you're wearing headphones when you walk into the stadium? Don't bother me.
No. I need to talk to everybody. I probably joke around more the day I pitch than I do other days, because I came up veteran group, Bum, Shark, Johnny, some other older guys. Don't look at them. That's just the way they were. That was the old school way of doing things. So I tried that, but for about a year, and I couldn't do it. Could not do it. I had Kevin Gosman come, and he was like how I do it now. Kind of talks to everybody, jokes around. At a certain point, you get locked in, but for the most part, you're allowed to talk to people and to have some fun. I play music as loud as I can. I think my teammates hate when I pitch because I play music so loud. So it's I try to make it fun for everybody, and I don't want to be that one guy that's like, "Don't look at me, don't talk to me." So I don't get how guys do that. I really don't, because if you show up to the field and you're like that, because I'm pretty locked in during the game, but if I show up to the field at 2 o'clock for a 6:45 game. That means I'm locked in and not talking to anybody for, what is that, 7 hours, 6, 7 hours? Like, it sounds miserable.
Yeah, it does sound
Miserable.
miserable. Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
miserable, and it seems like it would expend a ton of energy. And
100%.
I don't know how you could be ready to go if you show up and you've got your game face on 4 hours before first pitch, how you can't be exhausted.
First of all, you can't be exhausted because you actively have to try to not talk to everybody. You know what I mean? It's like I have to try to be serious, and it's like that's a lot of energy. So I couldn't do it. So Gosman was the guy that got me out of that. He said, "Hey, what are you doing? Get out of that. Don't do that."
Kevin Gossman, thank you very much for saving America,
He
one
did.
pitcher at a time, and now Canada doing it north of the border.
Holy Toledo, it is officially time for fans to head to the ballpark and root for their home team as the baseball season gets underway. Get in on the action early this season with our partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, all new customers who bet $5 will get $150 in bonus bets instantly, and don't forget to use our promo code ROSE. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, and new customers use promo code ROSE and bet just $5 on any wager and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code ROSE only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
I am always curious because I love talking to my pitchers about this, my starting pitchers. When things don't go well for you and you've got to sit around for 4 days before you get another opportunity to redeem yourself, how do you deal with that? Does it bother you for just a night? Do you wash it away? Do you carry it with you until your next start?
It's usually like a night or two. I think some days, if they're really bad, you get to the field the next day and you're like, kind of, you end up being more serious that day, right? You do your 25-minute bike when you're like locked in. You're pissed off because you sucked the day before, and but it's tough because you do have to wait 4 days because you feel like there's games you feel like you have good stuff and then things don't go well, and all of a sudden you're like, man, that stinks. You try to find positives, but there's really no positives. And it's hard to wait for 4 days. Like you honestly can't wait to throw a bullpen. Like this last one, I stunk in Dodger Stadium, gave up a couple, hard hits, walking guys, and I was pissed, but I was ready to throw my bullpen. I think I threw 2 bullpens in between. I threw my normal bullpen, then I threw another bullpen the day before because I wanted to get on the mound and wanted to fix some things. So it's always, sometimes it's a little bit of a blessing, right? You feel good. I thought I threw good opening day, and then next game, kind of it humbles you a little bit, right? There was some stuff I needed to fix. And when you do good, you don't find those little things that you might need to fix. You don't look into it as much. And then you start to see them when you have a bad one. So I thought it was a little bit of wake-up call for sure. Obviously, I don't want to give up 5 runs in 3 innings, but, sometimes baseball works out that way.
Yeah, well, I mean, Glasnow's always explained it. He says, listen, if you're going to make 30 starts a year, there's like 3 to 5 where it's just not going to work. Like that's just being a starting pitcher. And then he goes, there's 3 to 5 where they can't touch you. And then he said it's basically like those other 20 starts where it could go one way or another, and it's kind of up to you to figure it out.
You got to find a way. Yeah, you just have to. I mean, even my last one, I gave up 10 hits. I gave up 9 singles, but you got to find a way to try to, limit the damage. And I look back at that game, and I thought I threw great. They just putting the ball in play, finding holes. It's crazy as you keep playing. There's no bad teams, really. I don't think there's really no bad teams. I think every lineup is great. Big league hitters are good. They're the best at making adjustments, right? And I think early on for pitchers, you have to learn how to make those adjustments as well, right? You feel good. I always I throw more changeups than I throw fastballs. So
Mhm.
I find out always early in the season, hey, you can't do that the whole game. You know what I mean? Like you got to switch it up. I tried switching it up against the Dodgers. I threw 12 changeups, and that didn't work out. So it's just finding what's working and then kind of going off of that.
Well, what you need to do is you need to occasionally throw in Rogers' arm slot,
Yeah,
and then be able to get guys to swing and foul balls right off their face.
yeah.
So when this finally happened, because I know you guys have been talking about it in the dugout for years, dating back to when Gossman was there. You all thought it was going to happen at some point, and here's the poor kid Paulie, who ends up striking out because of it.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I've known forever that was going to happen at some point, right? It was bound to happen. It's come close plenty of times. But if you do watch it, he does foul it. It's a foul ball. He tips it a little bit. And so Ty comes into the clubhouse and I go, that a baby, hit him in the face, whatever. Finally did it. I go, he did foul it though. He goes, really? He goes, you're gonna ruin that for me right now.
What was the bench reaction when this happened?
Everyone's just laughing. It's crazy how you can throw that from there. It's a UFO, whatever they call it, on UFO slider, whatever it is. It's hard to play catch with. I played catch with him a couple times. He'll throw normal. He throws it. Honestly, it's weird. He throws exactly like his brother, like arm slot, everything up top. And then he'll go out and he'll come back in. He's like, all right, I'm going to drop down. It is hard to catch. It is. His fastball looks like it's 100 because it just comes in and then drops. And it's just, and then his slider, you're like, he just keep going with it. It's incredible. It's every time he pitches, I'm impressed. It's cool to watch him. I don't know how he does it. Like he'll say he goes 3-0 or something. And I'm like, and then all of a sudden it's 3-2. And I'm like, how'd you find it? You know what I mean? Like, what did you find down there to make it so that you're throwing strikes? I don't get it, because to me, it's just like, hey, he's just throwing them up there. But, he's got, it's crazy. It's weird. It's awesome. All those things.
How close is he to actually grazing his knuckles on the ground?
He goes through, I think there's like some things that sometimes it gets close. Sometimes I think he has hit his hand before, actually grazed it. And sometimes he's a little higher. It's a little different each time. You can usually tell by how hard he's throwing. Sometimes he'll be a little higher. He'll be like 84, touch 85. And then sometimes he'll be a little lower and it'll be like 80. And I don't know what's better. I couldn't tell you if one is better than the other, but he'll talk about that. I just let him do that, right? And stay out of it.
Amazing. All right. We're at a bad time in the baseball world with pitching injuries. So I want to get your opinions on, we're not going to solve this thing. I'm not into finger pointing. I actually love what Garrett Cole came out and said, where he was like, I don't want to listen to the MLBPA. I don't want to listen to Major League Baseball. Like, stop bitching about what it is and let's find why so many guys are going down, right? In recent days, we're taping this on a Tuesday. Bieber's done the year. We don't know about Spencer Strider. Fromber got scratched because of an elbow issue. Nick Pivetta just went on because of a flexor strain, and he was off to a great start in Boston. First of all, do you guys spend time talking about this as pitchers, or is it taboo to even bring up?
Yeah, we do. Last couple of days, we've definitely talked about it a little bit more. It's you can't point fingers at anything. I don't necessarily think it's the clock. I think there's a mix of a bunch of different things that are happening that are causing it. There's, I know the Twitterverse and people always talk about mechanics, right? I don't know if that's a thing. I think that it's a mix of a little bit of the clock, right? I do think there's a little bit of the clock and just the way pitching is. I think you get into certain moments where you forget about your mechanics. You got to go, right? It's like guys on second and third. I'm facing one of the best players. I'm going to throw the shit out of this pitch. And if you constantly do that, sometimes, I don't think pitcher injuries are new, right? Everyone's
Right.
There's always been pitcher injuries. I think it's just, talking to trainers, I feel like this month is always the worst month when it comes to pitcher injuries. This month and later on in the season, I think August or September. You hate to see it. I love watching pitching, and I love watching all those pitchers pitch. So it sucks, right? It sucks as a fan of baseball. But I do love what Garrett said. Like you can't just sit here and complain about it. It's like just figure out why, like do some studies, figure out what's happening. I know there's been people that say that there could be the no sticky thing, right? Like pitchers, when they lost sticky, guys got hurt. And
what do you think about that?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have an opinion on it because I don't even like getting my hand a little tacky from the rosin and ball. But I'll do it because sometimes the balls are tough. I will say some of the balls you get are pretty tough. But you got to just go with it. You can't complain about it. It's not like you can stop the game and say, "Hey, fix these balls." You got to just kind of wear it for a little bit and throw a ball out. Right? If you watch Alex Cobb pitch ever, he throws about 1 million balls out because he will wait till he gets the best ball. Right? He will keep tossing them out until he gets the ball he likes, and you're allowed to do that. So if you don't like the balls, just keep doing that. And I do think you do have to grip it a little bit harder for sure when you do get those bad balls. So that could be something. There's so many, like I said, there's so many different things that you could possibly pinpoint, but you just don't know. For me, it's just, it sucks that it's happening to some, pretty damn good pitchers around baseball.
It does. It's terrible. It's not good. I want to get, Chris Bassett just joined the Rose rotation. And he said it has to do with guys chasing velocity that shouldn't be chasing velocity. That there are guys who've been born into whatever body, Nolan Ryan, Justin Verlander, that it can happen. Like, yeah, you can hit 100 in the 8th inning or whatever. But a lot of guys are going to these specialty places and chasing velo because eventually that's going to get you to Division I baseball, to the minor leagues, to the major leagues, to the 9-figure contract, to whatever it is. That's got to be part of it, Logan, isn't it?
Yes, I do think that is part of it. It all depends on what is your goal. Is it to, stay healthy and be a good pitcher, or is it to be nasty for 1 or 2 years and make a lot of money? Right? There's those two things too, right? You don't know. So I think, I watch some guys do their plyo routines and throw these weighted balls, and I'm like, ow, that looks like it hurts. Why are you throwing this as hard as you can? I work out at a place where guys are, do a lot of velo days and throw as hard as they can. And I don't personally do that because I don't throw that way. I throw sinkers, and just trying to get the ball on the ground. I'm not trying to. So I don't know. I do think that has something to do with it, where guys are chasing velocity. That's the thing. I say it all the time. Why does everybody throw so hard? We'll face teams, and every starter throws 97. Every reliever throws 100, and I'm just like, this is incredible. But I do think, Chris is right in some facts that, Some guys' bodies aren't built to throw 100. It's like you're forcing it, right? You're like creating some change. Verlander has the body to throw 100 in the 8th inning, 9th inning. You know, some guys are just built to do that. Nolan Ryan had perfect mechanics. If you want to know how to land when your foot hits, you watch Nolan Ryan. And there's a reason why he pitched like that for 25 years and threw 100 for that long. So there's so many different things. Like I said, I think it's a mix of pitch clock. It's a mix of the training stuff, trying to throw as hard as you can. I think it could be a mix of, having to grip the ball a little harder without stick. I know they've been talking about having some like the, I know in Japan they have a little bit of tack on the baseballs. They've been talking about that for a couple of years. Maybe that's something that could help fix it a little bit. But at the same time, you watch pitchers now. I was talking to a hitter the other day. It was actually Wilmer was talking about it. And he was like, pitchers are nasty. You watch some of these guys throw, some of the stuff that they have. I mean, it's all around baseball. Like, I enjoy going on Pitching Ninja or Pitchers Nation and watching just pitching, because some of this shit is absolutely disgusting. Like, sinkers at 100 moving this much, right? Like, sliders that are 93, change-ups, splitters that are 90, 92, right? It's just, I think the nastier we get, the more problems that we have as pitchers.
It's demoralizing, man. I want to see Shane Bieber pitch and Spencer Strider and all these great guys. Now, you had Tommy John in 2016. At that time, were you chasing velocity in your career?
I mean, yes, but also I think it more had to do with how much I threw. Kind of at the end of my high school career, I came into pro ball with a hurt elbow. And I think when I got to pro ball, I wasn't throwing as hard, so I tried to get it back, and so I was overthrowing and had terrible mechanics, and that's kind of how I got hurt. So, but when I came back, I actually learned the right mechanics, stuff like that. Obviously, there's no perfect mechanics. I don't think. I think there's some things that you can do to help out, but there are ways to put yourself in better positions to not have elbow problems or shoulder problems, stuff like that.
And what is that? Is that just because you talked a little bit about the weighted balls? I mean, I know my son is a senior in high school now, and he went to one of these specialty places a couple of years ago because he was interested in pitching in college. And they were like, yeah, listen, you got a big frame. Let's get your velo up. And they were perfectly nice there. Yeah. They were. But I walked in and it just felt like they were printing money. And at the end of the day, sure, we're going to raise your miles per hour 4 miles an hour from one season to the next. And I was like, God, I've been around this sport forever. Is this really right, what we're doing? Yeah. Like, it just...
At what cost, right? That's the thing. But, talking to, a couple pitchers made a good point. It's like, you got to get your foot in the door, right? So, you talk about college guys, high school guys in the minor leagues. You have to open some eyes. So how do you open eyes? Well, velo is the number one way of doing that. Unfortunately, but that's just kind of how it works. And once you do that, you kind of get your foot in the door, and then you see guys get hurt. I see it all the time with young guys who come into camp where, they're trying to make a name for themselves. They're trying to open some eyes, and they're throwing 98 to 100 in bullpens. Not even, there's no hitters in there. This is a bullpen. And it's like, why are you throwing that hard? Why are you trying to throw that hard? But that's kind of how you open eyes nowadays. And that's just, it's kind of the way it is. Unfortunately, it's not we have kind of an old school staff this year. And that's one thing that they preached early on was, hey, stop fucking throwing 98 in a bullpen. Stop. Like, there's no need to do that. They were, it opened their eyes in a bad way almost. It was like, stop, you don't need to do this. So we were, trying to get guys to not throw that hard. Hey, you're going to throw 100 in the game, throw 93 in a bullpen, which is still pretty damn hard. For me, it was, hey, try not to hit 90 today, because I'm the 92 guy, 93. Say, hey, don't hit 90 today. All right, I'll be 88, 89. But, kind of the way things are going. They have, I'm sure you saw the free agent stuff, right? There's a lot of good players that still don't have jobs, right? And you're doing pro days for guys that might have pitched in AAA or AA years before and had good years, and they somehow can't find a job, and they're having to do pro days. Well, at the pro day, you got to throw hard. That's how you're going to open up some eyes. And it's like you almost forget about what actually made you a pitcher. You're just throwers now, unfortunately.
Well, that's why you're going to be around. I mean, really, think about it. Like, yeah, you gave up 9 singles the other day in your 10 hits. But you also, didn't you go 7 innings?
I did, yeah.
Jesus. Holy smokes. Most starters don't even know there's a 7th inning.
I will say there's a good looking around baseball. A lot of starting pitchers are going more 6 innings, 7 innings, which I've talked to you about this, but I love that. I love innings. I love throwing. I don't think you can do that though and be a thrower, right? You can't try and throw as hard as you can for 8, 9 innings. I mean, to be fair, I think most pitchers try to throw as hard as they can. I try to throw hard, right? It's not that I'm not trying to throw hard, but I just don't throw hard. So it's how can I be the most effective in what I can do. So I think that's something that, I love watching Chris throw. I love watching a lot of these guys throw, where it's like, I like pitching, and some guys are 98 in pitching, which is incredible, and some guys are 92 in pitching, and there are some things with kind of where your arm is at foot strike. I don't know if it's 100% true or not, but I would say if you look at the guys that did it for 20 years, a lot of the great pitchers that were able to stick around at foot strike, they are at 90 and not here.
Okay. Interesting. Plouffe wanted me to ask you this. That do you think you will rub off on Blake Snell? Meaning, listen, last night was his first time even facing hitters in a stadium setting this year. So we kind of got to give his first few starts kind of a wash a little bit. So 3 innings, 72 pitches, not ideal, but whatever. But we've seen that out of Blake Snell before when he's had a full spring training and has been healthy, that he's, the plate moves on him and he goes deep in counts even when he gets guys out. Is there a possibility that your ability to stay into games is something that will rub off on him, and maybe some of his ability that he's got will rub off on you?
I don't think honestly, I thought Blake looked fine yesterday. I thought he was amped up, right? It was his first time in front of a crowd, his first time on a new team. He was hitting 97. His stuff looked great. He was already on a pitch count, so it's not like he was going to be able to go deep anyways. Blake's going to be Blake. He's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. There's not many of those. He's going to strike out a lot of guys. I do think, you've heard him talk about walks before. I don't think he minds them, because he's one of those guys where he's that nasty that even if he does walk a guy, he's probably going to strike out the next guy. I think he's talked about it. It's not, he is a notoriously slow starter to seasons. He talks about it all the time. I don't want him to talk about that, because I'm like, hey, we're not slow starting this year, because I'm a slow starter too, and I'm trying to get out of that. So it's like, hey, we're gonna be great from the get-go. And but no, I thought Blake did a great job. I think he was playing in backfield games with minor leaguers, and with 0 people in the crowd. And then he had to throw a 5-inning sim game in Dodger Stadium against our hitters. He was facing the same guys over and over and over again. It's his first real game, right? It's like legit first real game. I think even spring training, you get at least 10,000 people in the stands. So it's a little bit of something. He had 0 for all of his. He's going to be fine. If anything, whatever he does, he needs to rub off on me because he's already given me a little shit for, finishing first, stuff like that. I made fun of his shoes. I said, Blake, I said, you're a big sneaker guy. He's wearing these terrible shoes. Well, Robbie Ray was wearing the same shoes. So he goes up to him. He goes, hey, these shoes have 3 Cy Youngs in them. I said, how many Cy Youngs does your shoe have in them? And I'm like, all right. I get that's cool. I like it. I was like, that's good heat. It's good heat.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did you have any input in, like, I don't know if you had a relationship prior to him joining the Giants. Did you call him when he was still a free agent and be like, get on out here?
I did not. I kind of let Cobb do that. Cobb knows him from back in the Tampa days. And even when Cobb texted him, I had Cobb do it. Cobb wanted to do it first. He reached out. And even then, I seemed like Blake was kind of keeping it close. He wasn't giving anything away. And, talking to Cobb and Blake, I think a lot of the reason why Blake wanted to come here was because of Cobb. I think Cobb is he's a great leader. He's one of my favorite. He's probably my best friend in baseball besides Gosman. Him too are kind of neck and neck for my 2 favorite players that I've played, 2 favorite pitchers that I've played with. And Blake had that same relationship when Blake first came up. Cobb was kind of that guy for him. So, it's cool to see their relationship. And I think he had a lot more to do with it than I did. I kind of let Cobb kind of take that one. And once he signed, though, instantly was texting him. We were texting back and forth, talking about, how many show dinners are we going to do this year? I said, you're rich now. I said, you got a lot of money. I said, you pay for all of our dinners. And he's all about it. So we're good. We're probably have a good one in Tampa. That's where he started. I'm excited because it's his first game back in Tampa pitching.
Oh, wow.
So he'll get that one last game, and I think it's Sunday. I think I pitch Saturday, he pitches Sunday. So it'll be fun to see that. I said, he hates these videos. They did a video for him in San Diego. Hated it. He was like hiding. He didn't want to do it. I said, Tampa's going to give you a good one. Tampa's going to give you a real good one. I said, you're going to have to. I said, I expect a hat. You got to give a hat wave. He didn't do it in San Diego, but he's going to have to do it. Definitely in Tampa.
Come on. I mean, I know you're a rival team in the NL West, but still, they did love him down there. I mean, he became a part of their broadcasting team with Don and Mud and the whole bit.
Yeah. I don't know. He's got to do it, right? It's part of it. You have to give the hat wave. If you don't give the hat wave, it didn't happen.
Great call. I like that. Well, we'll be on that. We'll be scouring.
We're watching.
I love that. I'm a big fan of you talking about that. Los Angeles announcement for you. We've got the first ever live in-person edition of Baseball Today. It is coming your way Friday, April 12th, before the Dodgers play host to the San Diego Padres. We're going to want to join us at Boomtown Brewery. That is the same venue where we had the All-Star festivities there a few years ago when the Midsummer Classic was in Los Angeles, California. So it's going to be me, Plouffe, doing a live show. We've got a Q&A. You can take some pictures. We can hang out. We can have some drinks. We can talk some ball. There's still a few general admission seats left. So that means you buy them. You get to join us at 5 o'clock. There's also a free Dodger Stadium express shuttle within walking distance of Boomtown Brewery, so you can get up to the game before that 7 o'clock first pitch between the Dodgers and the Padres. One way to get your tickets, shop.johnboymedia.com. Click on the link in the description. We will see you Friday, April 12th. First ever live edition of Baseball Today. You know who else I'm a big fan of? Jung Hoo Lee. He is awesome. I mean, you
He is
talked about
awesome.
it. You talked about it when we caught up with it, I think right as spring training was starting or something like that. And I love the beer shower you guys gave him after his first homer. He just seems like he wants to be a part of the team. And it's hard. We talked about this. Like when guys come from other countries, they can feel isolated. He seems like
Yeah.
he has just immersed himself in the middle of this group. Is that accurate?
Yeah, he's great. It's funny. He wants to be treated like a rookie. He tells everyone to treat me like a rookie. And it's like, hey, not many rookies have won MVPs in professional baseball, right? He's an MVP over there. It's not like, he's getting paid a decent amount. He's a stud. He's the nicest guy in the world. He's funny. He loves doing, like, instantly want to do handshakes with everybody. And his English is getting better. His translator's the best too. Justin, fantastic. One of my favorite guys already. So it's been fun to watch, and he's awesome to watch play every day. It seems like everything's a barrel. He finds barrels. He finds holes. I think started off super hot. It's gotten a little cold a little bit, but it's just, I think, going to face the Dodgers. They did a good job. They did a good scouting report against them. Kind of, he's catching back up right now, and my favorite part of it when he goes, I love you," and it's the best. It's great. He's that guy every day. Nicest guy in the world, joking around all the time. He's a stud, so that helps.
Well, what I would say is with Justin, you didn't go up and ask him, "Hey, who do you like in the UConn Purdue game? Got a line for me?"
No, I did not.
Okay.
We did mess with him a little bit about that, but we haven't taken it too far. It was just for a couple days.
Hey man, the profession's gonna wear it a little bit.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Yeah. It was.
Go ahead.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'll stay away from that one.
You can save for another day.
Yeah.
One thing I love with professional sports is when guys like recognize greatness, and it can be hard, right? You're competing, you want to win, they want to win, and it's really hard when it's a rival, and it's really hard when it's Dodgers Giants. But you came out and you said some things about Mookie Betts after he put one over the wall against you last week. When that happens, is there a bit of you that appreciates the battle, if not the result?
I do. He's one of those guys. He always says hi, right? He always does this before and every time I see him, like, he'll be on the field before, or he'll be on first base, and I'll kind of say hi to him, and I always look at him like whatever, dude, because he knows he owns me, and we've kind of talked about it a little bit before, and but I love facing him, right? He's you always want to compete against the best guys. And like I said, I kind of said in the thing, it's like, I'm never surprised by something that he does. The fact that he's, he was the best right fielder in baseball. And then watching him play infield now, he's incredible out there. It's not like he makes every single play. He makes great plays. He makes, Sports Center type plays. It's fun to watch. And I think, we were kind of joking around about it, because he's hitting, I don't know, I think he's still hitting 500 or whatever, 600 on the season. And we were like, we wish he didn't move to shortstop, because they gave him like something more to, be better at, which is just going to make him better at hitting. And he's incredible to watch. It's cool, you watch him, all the videos of him bowling or playing basketball or football or whatever. It's just the incredible athlete. And it's one of those things you're going to look back one day and be like, man, it was cool. I got to play against that guy. He's one of those special talents. I wish I got him out a lot more than I do. I'm tired of giving up hits and homers to him, but hopefully someday I figure it out. I figure out his hole. And still, at that point, he was probably making an adjustment and hit a double down the right field line instead of the left field line. That's just the type of guy he is. And I hate watching it because it's on the other team, but I love watching it as a fan of baseball.
Okay, good perspective. Thank you. Just one or two more things, and we're going to let you go. You grew up about 30 miles or so from Sacramento. We've talked about you being a big Kings big Kings fan and all that sort of stuff. What is your take on the A's moving up there? Is it, if I remember correctly, I thought people in your family were A's fans. Is that accurate?
Yeah, people in my family were A's fans. I was an A's fan growing up. It's weird. You know, the worst part about this whole thing is for Oakland. I think the Oakland fans have just gotten, you know, almost like, I don't want to say fucked, but it kind of got fucked. You know, they've lost 3 teams in the past 10 years. They lost the Warriors, they went to San Francisco, they lost the Raiders, they went to Vegas, and now they lose the A's. Like, it does suck. Do I think those teams should just wear it and have to play in the Coliseum for the rest of their? No, you know, that place is a dump. It's not, there's no sugarcoating it, right? You know, no one likes playing there. But, you know, I've always talked about it. I've said it before. I think Sacramento should have a professional baseball team. I think that fan base deserves one. I know they're trying to get a soccer team there. I know they have a minor league soccer team there, but when you go to Kings games, that place is sold out every night. It doesn't matter if they're winning or losing. They love their sports. Mm-hmm. And I would not be surprised when the A's go there. That place being, I know it's a minor league stadium, so it's not going to be, you know, too many fans, but I wouldn't be surprised that place is sold out every single night. You know, it's a great sports city. I don't know, you know, I don't know why they're not talked about more for when they're talking about expansion teams and moving places. And so we'll see how this goes. I haven't been paying too much attention with the Vegas move. It just seems, it's kind of weird. It's like official, but not official. You know,
I know.
They don't. So it's, you know, I know Vivek talked about it, the owner of the Kings. He was like, hey, this is our chance to prove that we should have a team here. And I think it'll be great for the city of Sacramento. I do. I do think that they will prove that they can have a team there, and that, you know, it's the capital of California. It's not like some random city, you know.
Right.
I think it's going to be great for Sacramento. Like I said, it sucks for Oakland. I feel for Oakland. You know, I feel it. I was a fan of the A's. I've been, you know, to a ton of games at the Coliseum. I went to Raiders games there. You know, it's tough. You know, it's you know, Mount Davis. You know, all the stuff. You know, I still love going to the Coliseum when we play there. I love it. It's like one of the only places where they tailgate still, which is cool. But you know, it's, like I said, I'm excited for Sacramento, because I do think that they will prove that they deserve to have a team there.
Yeah, I don't blame Sacramento the least bit. Like, the fans should be excited if they're getting their opportunity.
For sure.
Everybody's heard me voice my opinion on how terribly I feel for the Oakland fans. I talk about it quite frequently on Baseball Today. Raiders, should they draft a quarterback? This will be our last show together before the NFL draft. Do you want Michael Penix in the first round?
I do. You know, I'm not, even if we didn't draft a quarterback, you know, I think there's I know they're talking about tackle. I think there's some good tackles in the first round that they could take. You know, I thought O'Connell did a pretty good job last year. All said and done.
Come on, dude. Come on.
What?
I got to stop you here.
Why?
Please. Did you watch him play in that 3-0 game against Minnesota? That was horrible.
You know, it's funny. I was actually doing a free agent visit during that game, so I didn't watch any of the game. And I turned it on at the very end. I mean, Farhan were sitting upstairs actually in the clubhouse, and I turned on the game and I said, it's fucking 0-0 in the fourth quarter. I said, what the hell is going on? And Farhan's laughing at me because he knows I'm a Raider fan. And I turned it on. And as soon as I turned it on, Vikings kick a field goal. And I'm like, well, this game's over. So that was I'm happy I didn't watch that game. I would have thrown shit that day. But yeah, I think Penix would be badass. I do know that there's a Jaden Daniels connection, big connection. I just don't see them
moving up that far. They got to move up 10 spots to get him.
I don't. Yeah, and there's a thing with Telesco, right? He doesn't trade in the first round. Is that true?
I believe that's accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. It'll be interesting if people. I think the Raiders are the only team in on Penix right now, but in the first round. Well,
is it because he's a little bit older, a couple injuries?
The injuries are a major thing. They also, I think people are like, he's got an arm. His mechanics are a little strange, but he can zip it. He can make every throw. He did it in the national semifinal game against Texas. And then the next week against a defense that's most like an NFL defense that you'll see in Michigan in terms of personnel and the way it's coached. Then he looked horrible.
I know.
And I think that's the thing that scares people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's weird. I think question for you. Would you rather take Penix or JJ McCarthy?
I mean, with McCarthy, it's all the stuff we haven't seen consistently enough at the collegiate level. But everybody says he can do it. So I haven't seen it. I've seen him make some throws that are NFL throws, but not a ton of them. But you can't blame him because they run the ball 68% of the time or whatever, and they don't ask him to throw all these NFL throws. I think he fits perfectly in Minnesota. I think with Kevin O'Connell, I don't think every team it fits. I really don't think so. I don't think with the Raiders he fits. I think with Kevin O'Connell, he fits. That's me.
I could see that.
That's me. All right, last thing. Everybody has their thoughts on the uniforms. All I care about is, did you all give shit to Casey Schmidt for the nut shot?
Yeah. Yeah, I gave him a lot of shit. It's funny, his girlfriend actually did is an Instagram post of them too, and it was like, I'm nuts about you or something. It was hilarious. That's great. But no, we gave him first of all, if you're the photographers, you had to have seen that, right? You had to have seen it. Photographers, the people that posted it, you had to have seen that. Been like, hey, move it around a little bit. Like, let's fix this. And then they tried to make up for it and post a different one where it's not showing. It's like, well, it's already out there. Now you know. You know what I mean? And then, of course, Casey is going around talking about it. He was so excited that he was on like every sports thing, news thing that he was talking about his nuts. And it's funny, but I just kept saying, yeah, damn, you got a small bag. He didn't like that. He said it was a picture. He said it's the way it was the photo was.
It's all about the lighting when it comes to the ball sack.
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
Exactly.
By the way, do you really want to have the biggest balls of anybody? I mean, is that the thing? I don't know if that's.
No, I don't. I mean, no, I feel like it'd be like trouble, it's kind of get in the way of a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing as you get older. I mean, listen, I'm twice your age, basically. The ball sack, they get in the way a little bit, and then when you get in your 70s, I hear, and your 80s, then it's just, trying to figure out what to do with these things. And I'm surprised y'all didn't print pictures and just put it all over his locker.
We should have. I mean, I kind of let the position players get after him a little bit. Yeah, Slater, Conforto, Chappie. Everyone got on him a little bit, and the pitchers kind of just were like icing on the cake. There's those guys. Those guys gave him a lot of stuff. Pat the Bat destroyed him every day for that. So that was good. That was good. He needs it. He needs it, though. He needs it.
That's the least surprising comment of the entire program, right there about Pat the Bat coming in to finish it up. All right, speaking of finished, we are done. Awesome, good job. I mean, thanks for taking us all sorts of places. The grandmas, the pitching discussion, we were all over it. Casey Schmidt's nutsack. I mean,
yep, we got everything in there.
It's all about versatility here at the Rose Rotation.
I will. Pat Burrow, I asked him about it. I said, the machine. And he loves it. He loves it. That was him for sure.
About that.
Because it's hilarious. That is hilarious.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. He hasn't brought it out yet. He said he'll bring it out.
I think he and I, the next time you guys are in town, have to sit down and maybe
have a conversation.
Maybe we should have him join us on a Zoom.
Yeah.
And break it down.
He'd be great. Oh, he'd be great on here. Oh,
stop. Are we really, Scirocco? Look at this. 14.
Oh, that's the best.
Look at Wilson's smile too, acting like it didn't happen, and he is trying so hard.
That's so good.
That was a
That's
tough
so
one.
Good.
That was a tough one for me. Really tough.
He's got Pat's a good storyteller. That's for sure.
Yep. I imagine we could tell a few. All right, this was fun as always. Go out and kick some ass in your next start. Who do we have? You said Tampa this weekend?
Tampa,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, travel safely. Have fun. We'll catch up in several weeks and hope all is well. This was a good time.
Yeah. Thanks, Rosie.
All right. Appreciate it. For our amazing producer, Robbie Scirocco, and Logan Webb, who is always keeping his eye on his teammates, whatever they're doing out there. Quite an interesting group up there in San Francisco. I am Chris Rose. We will see you next time here on the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media.